Hello and welcome to my channel Wonders of Price Action. Today I want to share with you a very important thing, a confusion, a misconception that most of the traders have regarding forex trading. Even you must have watched No Nonsense Forex channel of VP, in which he has told, he has explained that big banks, especially the video that is big banks. I would have shared some of its parts or the screen of that, but I don't know whether it is allowed or not. You can watch that, in which he has told that in forex the big banks so conspiracies is against the retail traders. These are the misconceptions, and in the case that he has given the example of euro Suisse means euro chef example, and I have now to analyze that pair in that period, and I will show you the bank policy that sent that downward. Now it was the time this downward setup that was so nice that traders could take advantage of these, because the pairs go according to their setups. The news doesn't do by itself, but before that the setup and the price section is ready. For example, those of yuan pairs that went down, if you have watched my videos of chef jpy, euro jpy, gp jpy, all those came down at the news very quick, but those pairs have already developed a downward trend through price action. Now this is the chart of the euro chef when it came downward in the 2015, but it was making setup of down earlier. Now this is 2014. From here it was making the downward setup. This was the price of 1.26 and it came up to 1.22. This was the high of the market, this was the down of the market. Then market went up and retested this level, and after retesting broke this here. After breaking this low, went up to retest this level and came downward. And let us see what happened again. It kept going down with downward, and what this happened. This was the 15th January 2015. This came downward after developing a downtrend. There was no conspiracy of the banks that VP has misconceptions about it, or all other major forex trading experts or analysts have doubts have about the big banks. No, big banks have no rule, but the central banks have the main rule, because let us see the policy of the Swiss National Bank when this move happened. But before this move, a complete setup of downward was made up on the price action. This was not a sudden move. Though at 1.20 there was a peg by Swiss National Bank, but they removed the tag and before removing this tax, the price action made the downward setup. And any bank, central bank, without the cooperation of other national bank or other central bank, cannot move any pair by itself. So now let us see the policy of the Swiss National Bank, that this is the monetary policy at the 15th January when this downward move came, and this was the policy. Before this policy, the setup of downward was made on this pair earlier. After making this pair, on this news, the pair came down like the yen pairs first made their downward setup, then on the news came downward quickly. Now let me read this policy of the Swiss National Bank. Monetary policy environment breaking new ground. On 15 January, the SNB, Swiss National Bank, discontinued its minimum exchange rate of CHA 1.0 to the euro and announced a further cut in the interest rate on sight deposits to minus 0.75%. These decisions were the response to international developments. Over the course of 2015, market participants began to expect that the US Central Bank, the Federal Reserve, would start increasing its policy rates. Meanwhile, the ECB indicated that the additional monetary stimulus would be required in the euro area. As a result, the euro weakened substantially against the US dollar. The euro Swiss franc minimum exchange rate came under intense pressure, and by mid-January 2015, it had become clear that it was no longer sustainable. Had the SNB not acted as it did in the discontinuing the minimum exchange rate against the euro, it would have been forced to buy enormous amounts of foreign currency. The SNB's balance sheet would have expanded rapidly, potentially to a size that would have severely impaired our ability to fulfill our constitutional mandate in the long term. Since the discontinuation of the minimum exchange rate, the SNB's monetary policy has been based on two pillars which are designed to mitigate upward pressure on the Swiss franc and to ensure price stability over the medium term. The first pillar is a negative interest rate on sight deposits at the SNB. The second pillar is our willingness to intervene on the foreign exchange market as required. These two pillars are complementary and mutually reinforcing policy instruments. So this was the decision of the Swiss National Bank. That was the market condition. So they had to decide this, and this decision was not any conspiracy of any big banks, but central banks have to maintain their basic currency, and they have to make it stable. Neither they will allow to appreciate it too much or depreciate it too much. The USD Federal Reserve, according to this policy, were increasing interest rates, were tightening the policy, and euro was easing the policy, was increasing the stimulus, in which euro was depreciating. And to maintain this was the problem for the Swiss National Bank. So this was quite simple. And before this move, I have shown you once again. Let us move to the chart in which it was already, we see we watch it again, that the setup was clearly, let us see here. This was the high, this was the low, the market went up, here broke the low, then retested here, came down. After making a complete downward setup, then it crashed. But it didn't happen at all at sudden, though the traders were expecting that there is a peg, but price action. This channel's name is Wonders of Price Action. So price action is above all, is superior to all, and it shows the willingness of the central banks before the news. You will watch all the yen pairs, and if you will watch my analysis in which I have Chef JPY, Euro JPY, GP JPY, all had earlier made the downward setups. Then add the news of the central bank of the Japan. What is its name? The Central Bank of Japan decided to tweak its rates so that those pairs came down. Now let me open this was the past setup, but now next time I will show you you can watch those my Euro JPY, GBP JPY, Chef JPY analysis, that those has already made the setup. So in this past Swiss franc downward move, the setup were already made by price action, then news came. So there is no conspiracy, there is nothing at all. It is all that we can watch through price action. So if you can watch, if you want to watch that video of the VP on nonsense forex, if you haven't watched that, you may watch that, and then you can decide, and then you see this chart. This is the misconception of VP, the no nonsense forex, and all other traders have this misconceptions. And when he says that don't be the what he says, in the limelight, to high profile, don't come into their eyes, don't be popular, then I can tell you the example of Raja Banks. Raja does clearly, he shows, he trades, and he earns live, and he works on $1 million accounts. So banks do nothing to him. So now it's over. This is the thing that for many months I wanted to share with you. And please subscribe my channel, like this video, and let me know in the comments what do you think of this, because when I watched this setup, this is clearly downward setup. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. I will be coming in the next video with another analysis.